If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon. It's a wonderful, fantastic, some would say even a freaky Friday, but it's about love. We're going to start things off asking you, just how low can you go? Want to know what we're talking about when we come back from the break? We invite you to be a part of a discussion. And then at 1 o'clock after the headline news, why not keep love in the air? Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And thanks so much for joining us as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. They say good things come to those who wait and better things for those who make it happen. Well, how low can you go to fight cancer? Honored to welcome to the studio Ms. Ramona Bogdan. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me here today.
It truly is an honor. I think when we can combine good friendships with great causes, sport to support, things that touch our lives in a way, it make us better. And then we can include male and female, young and at heart alike, in a spirit of love, in a spirit of giving, in a spirit of appreciation. You know what? It just reminds us how beautiful people are and how wonderful we can be when we show respect for each other. So this particular Valentine's Day squad competition that we're going to talk about, tell us about it.
Well, it started, it's actually a celebration. About 9 years ago, my sister, almost 10 years ago, my sister, Ina, who was 25 at the time, she was given a few months to live. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and, a few months to live. Thankfully, today, she's not just cancer-free for 9 years, but she's also the mother of a beautiful little boy. So while we are celebrating every day, not taking any day for granted, we think it's time every day, but today particularly to give back.
Yes. And thank you for sharing, because these stories I think we all can relate to, some on a personal level, but sometimes we need to be reminded that we take life for granted. We took, for instance, last year, our freedoms. That thing that we could go to the beach, for instance, anytime we wanted but never did. We only missed it when we missed it. What's the song say? You only miss the rain when it's not raining, right? The expectation that a government in a democracy will never do these things in the interest of public safety that would take away your freedom. That's for those countries over there, the banana republics, the communists, and whatever that happened before the wars. But yet, it transpires today. But yet, we look at life. And for you to share that story, we can be so grateful. We can come and we can share. If it's okay with those listening to you, we can see the miracle of life. However you define that, whatever you subscribe to. But it's about love and celebration. So is it this Sunday, Valentine's Day?
Yes, it's this coming Sunday, Expectation Day, as I call it.
Expectation Day?
Expectation Day.
Can I borrow that? Expectation Day, I shall like that.
By all means. I think it's a good day to celebrate not just romantic love, but love for one another, for people around us.
True love. Expectation Day. You know what? I always struggle, with the idea of Valentine's Day when I saw it introduced into our schools, the very young ones, without properly giving them an understanding that more than likely, at least in their context, they saw this thing as a day for romantic love. I like how you phrase that. I'll put it that way. As opposed to love for love thy neighbor as thyself. So Expectation Day. I gotta file a petition to have it changed from now on. Expectation Day. But we can show our love in many ways, right? And I like the fact that you've combined sport with a cause to raise, but for something that allows people. So where Sunday, where?
The event will take place at Dalmain Ebanks Boxing Gymnasium, located in the Truman Bowden Sports Complex. And I hope to see as many as possible at 8 o'clock in the morning. Look, I know it's early.
But thank you for saying that.
I know it's early. I've heard and I've seen many faces when they heard the timing. But look, I look at it this way: the whole world is stuck in the house. The whole world cannot go out to see friends, loved ones. They cannot go to visit neighbors. They cannot go anywhere. We can do anything we want here, thanks to the way our government took care of the situation. So we can do anything. Why not wake up early in the morning and make the most of it?
I think about it, whatever we're up to Saturday evening, come Sunday morning to week, and sun is up like 7ish, so we're going to probably be up anyway. But expectation, appreciation, celebration, love, and what better way than to come to, as you said, together. I think our success is also attributable to the civility of our people, the way our society and our citizens have responded out of love and appreciation and a respect for each other, safety and security. So Sunday we come. Now, you're going to do a squat challenge. Now, I don't know. What is it? Tell me about it.
I'll tell you. So I choose squats because they are not easy. It's a very difficult exercise when you do it correctly. But cancer is not easy either. So we have to show support, with a little bit of sweat. And of course, trying to raise some money to help those in our community that need money to fight cancer. So we get together and then we start squatting, and the man and the woman who will perform the most squats will be the winners of the competition. But because I want it to be a happy day for everybody, everybody who will participate will receive a raffle ticket. So there is a possibility for everyone to win. We'll have fabulous prizes for everyone there.
Yeah, and that's the idea. There's something about us, even those of us who are not necessarily in our minds very competitive. And if you look at group sports, and then there are some of us that are very competitive, and you look at group fitness classes, you draw sort of inspiration and motivation from your fellow participants. So in the gym, for instance, maybe it's squats, maybe it's push-ups, maybe it's, just some little thing, that little sprint at the end. You feel a little extra inspiration to better yourself. Here I can see us assemble, squatting, and some of us, our egos will get the best of us, but some of us are going to be strategic, right? And what do you think? What would be that number of squats that people will be able to do? 10? 1,000? What do you think?
Most of my friends promise to do one squat.
One squat? Hey, see? They're committed.
Which is good because I want to do more than them.
You know what? I like that.
That's the reason I pick squats. That's the only thing I can do. I'm not going to decide on a burpee competition.
Thank you for that. That's hard. No, man. Burpees and push-ups for some people, are, challenging like squats. But squats, done properly, strengthens the core. Yeah, makes the glutes look pretty decent. The quads sort of get a little help as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're helping yourself along the way, right?
It was all a tactic.
I wish I had. For those who want to be a part of it, I mean, Sunday morning is Valentine's, and we're probably going to go out sometime after, whether with family, whether in the house, or whether at some setting. So why not start the day off, work up the appetite, give yourself license to enjoy the libation later because you've done something that brings the community together. So how do we, if you want to register, how do we go about it?
Well, it's already Friday, so everybody can register at the place of the event. Again, the Dalmain Ebanks Boxing Gymnasium. You can just come 10-15 minutes before 8 and we'll be there ready to take your money.
And it's only $25, and as you shared, it's going to benefit the Cancer Society.
Yes, all the proceeds we will have will go entirely to Cancer Society.
And it's fun. I mean, how do you see this going now? All the participants sort of in the gym. The mats are very comfortable, so the floor, you don't have to worry about the hardness of some surfaces.
Oh no,
We've
you don't have
good
to
cushion
worry.
floors.
The boxing gymnasium is very well equipped. We'll make sure nobody gets injured.
Yeah, man.
And the mats are very comfortable, so we all have space in the boxing gymnasium. If I will be pleasantly surprised and I see all of our community coming, we'll step outside. We have the backyard.
Yeah, we have a wonderful setting, and this is where I think over the years, the country's investment in these facilities are paying great dividends. I have a special affinity for the boxing gym. I think back to the days of Mr. Dalmy and my father. Not just a friendship, not just sailing together, but the love for boxing. Can you imagine going into your town hall and watching a video back then of a fight that isn't one that happened yesterday, it happened years ago, and you know the outcome of the fight, and watching it and cheering for your particular champion is going to change the outcome. But the men are watching this thing as if this was live, and then the banter after still translates into the gym today with the classes. So I can see Sunday being the same thing. We're having fun, we're raising money for a great cause, and people are being inspired that life is to be cherished.
Absolutely. I love the I am looking forward for people to see the boxing gymnasium, because I love it. Even though I work in a restaurant, I finish work late, I wake up early in the morning and I go, because it's good. It brings people together, it makes you feel good. Working out is healthy.
Yeah. If it's okay with you, and only I want to ask to kind of remind many of us that every excuse that we're looking for, we can find it when it comes to doing something that is good for us, like exercise, like what I think boxing does, no matter what your sport is. If you train as a boxer, live the lifestyle of a boxer, you're going to be better at any sport, from football to swimming to just going out dancing to just, coming to work. So 5:30 or 6 a.m. in the morning that you're training, exercising, you're finishing work 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Many people, oh no, I can't get up. But when you do, does it honestly take you through the day with more energy, with a greater sense of focus, attention, desire, design, deliberate, Is that true?
I will be completely honest, and I'll tell you it's not all glamorous. I wake up 5:30, I cry until 6, but I'm going to gym 6 o'clock. And then it's all wonderful from there.
But it's true, right? Afterwards,
it's true. I feel fantastic. I need it. It makes me feel good. And we have to take care of our body. We have to help. We have to take care. And it makes you feel good. You have energy for all day.
And like you said, it's not too glamorous, but that's the beauty of it, right? Because everybody is natural. It's honest and sincere. We're sweating. Whatever makeup us men are wearing is all off. Just kidding. And when you finish, everybody's in the same boat. If you've done it right, you're as sweaty as you can be, but you're energized. And strangely enough, I think the same thing happens at 5:30 in the evening. You've left work, you're all mentally exhausted, you're probably apprehensive about the report that has to be filed the next day. And you probably don't want to be there because it's so much easier not to be.
But maybe you do want to be there, because what's more appealing than a boxing bag in front of you, and you can take out all the frustration.
That politician, that boss, that customer. Perfect thing, right? All right. Well, see, I love that laughter, and I love that appreciation for life. When we come back from the break, can we talk more about it? And, I'm still thinking of the story that motivated you and the gift of life and that cherished, sort of moment with your sister. And now, just be able to look at our nieces and nephews and through them, look at the world and the promise that lies ahead for their future, all because, of hope, of love.
Absolutely.
All right. Miss Ramona Bogdan will return after we come back from the break. There is a Valentine's Day sort of squat competition, if you want to call it that, 8 a.m. Yes, that's not early. On Sunday, it's Valentine's Day. It's going to be at the boxing gym, and we're going to be there. We'll have fun, but we're also going to be appreciative of life and love. If you want to call us, though, 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Join us after the break for more Talk Today.
Maintaining a strong mind and body through sports and general healthy living is a good course of action. But what about your spiritual man, your inner man? He has to be awakened, fed, exercised, strengthened, and led according to the will of God. So, have you heard the call? I'm evangelist Brother Joseph Joey Ebanks, and I'm inviting you to worship Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7:30. We are bringing the Word of God to our communities as Jesus commanded. Faith comes by hearing. So come and hear. Bring your own chair or simply park and listen to the Word of God from your vehicle, covering the Cayman Islands with the Word of God, one community at a time.
Have you heard the call? We'll be at the junction of Reverend Blackman Road and Stadium Drive, West Bay, on February 10th and 11th at 7:30 p.m.
Commencement at the University College of the Cayman Islands is being moved to spring. in line with more traditional practices in other countries. The spring date will allow graduating students to be part of the university's celebration of their accomplishments. UCCI's 2021 commencement ceremony will be on Saturday, April 24th, 7:30 p.m. at Sir Vassal Johnson Hall. Application deadline for graduating students to apply for graduation is Friday, the 12th of March, 2021. For all the information on Commencement 2021 and to access the graduation form, visit www.ucci.edu.ky/graduation.
Bacardi presents One Love Legends of Reggae Concert, Saturday, February 13th at Coral Beach, featuring Mr. Notch and Local Motion 345, Erica Asai, Bonafide K-Man, and DJ Craig, covering legendary reggae music with a lovers rock twist for this pre-Valentine's Day show. Catch the free pre-show from 4 p.m. with the Neverines and Sugar Daddy. Tickets to the main event, $25, available from eventpro.ky or ticket outlets, Coral Beach, Blackbeard's Liquor Stores, Winner's Circle, FIS MoneyGram, Funky Tanks, Island Naturals Cafe, and ShopRite. One Love Legends of Reggae Concert is brought to you by Bacardi, Coral Beach, Burger Shack, Supermix, Caymanian Times, and Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thank you for joining us. And as we invite you to be a part of the discussion, it isn't about having you look at this and reflect with a heavy heart. As we have Ramona Bogdan in the studio, I like what she said, expectation day. Look with expectation, look with love and appreciation and celebration. And as you were telling us with your sister, that is the miracle and the gift of life. And now her with her young one, I don't know, man, I have to be careful not to get too choked up and emotional, because men are supposed to do that, right? But it makes you appreciate life and who you are and where you are.
Yes, it makes us so grateful every day. Since when it happened with my sister, cancer was something that would always happen to other people. In my family, we had no clue how it truly can impact you. And her being 25 at the time and doctor crying in front of her, telling her you have few months to live, it shook everything. It shook. It made no sense. Luckily, my sister is the most stubborn person I know. And she decided things are going to be different than predicted. So she said, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to be a mother. And she is healthy. She is a mother. God. And she continues to be an inspiration for all of us around her.
You see, that's the thing, especially in small communities. We believe we know what that person has gone through, is going through. We believe they know everything about them as much as we know. We realize we know nothing. We see the smile, but we don't know the pain. And it isn't because they're being false, it's because they have expectation, hope, right? And they're surrounded by family and friends who nurture, who inspire, who encourage, who support, who love, right? And it's something about team sports, but boxing in particular. It's almost, for some people, difficult to appreciate that you have this perception of aggression. You hit in that bag. But then you have a coach, a team partner, another participant who's encouraging you by their presence and by their participation, right? And so, as sweaty as you are after, you can embrace, even if it's not physical embrace, that high five, that yo, tomorrow, right? 5:30 a.m., p.m., both. You have that.
Absolutely.
And that gives you expectation, right?
Yes, the camaraderie. The jokes, the sweat, the competition.
Yeah, I hope I don't speak out of school, but, we see women being able to do that so much easier, right? Because for some reason, we have failed to allow our men to express love for each other. At the gym, we see some of the men, doing it in a way that gradually develops a strong bond of friendship. And they may not yet have, or we may not yet have come to the emotional connection that we should. Maybe we'll evolve eventually and get there. But you see it, right? September, you start a class, and by December, you get a Christmas party, you go, yo, how you doing? and we'll see it on Sunday because it's expectation day.
Absolutely. I do expect to see all my box partners.
Yeah, definitely. Now, for $25, I mean, I know that for some, and it could be $5. Many people, they're having it hard, irrespective of what assistance, whatever savings they may have. But without even thinking, we'll lose $25 just walking past the shop without even paying attention. Here is a small amount with a significant impact.
It's a small amount in comparison with the chemo session, which many people are not aware. It can reach to $10,000. A patient can require 6, 7. My sister needed 11 sessions of chemo. Yes, she had a good insurance, but it's still not enough.
Yeah.
It's still not enough. It involves so much more expenses than expected.
Yeah, I rarely mention it, and it hurts, more than. And sometimes I want to let on, but I would go with my uncle when he would do chemo, and I missed his last session because of work. And to this day, I find it hard to forgive myself that I wasn't there that day because something went wrong that day. And you beat yourself up for it. But when they're doing chemo and you can make them laugh, and when you know that you've done everything, you feel like you still haven't done enough, but at least you've tried. But when you know that they don't have enough money for the light bill, the water bill, for the groceries, for that little extra thing that might give them comfort, a little sweet ice cream or a little something, right? This can help.
This helps with so much more. What I like most about the Cancer Society in Cayman Islands is that it helps the individual in front of you that needs help. It's not just fighting for the life. The person cannot work. The person cannot provide if he's a father, a mother for the children. It helps with the people's needs. The money don't go for research. The money go and they help exactly what they are needed. This is what I like about this Cancer Society. And not only that, they are there for the people when they need. They are there with moral support. They are there with so much more. When my sister was sick, it was because of the community's support and love that we felt like we are not fighting alone. We were in this together. It felt like we are all in this. It wasn't just her having cancer.
Yeah, we were in this together. And this is why sometimes I may, without even considering, cause some people to be offended or to feel a little quick in their spirit. Humility before honor. When you see someone go through chemo and you're there, and the obvious thing that may happen to most, they lose their hair, they lose their appetite, they become ill after the treatment. That walk from the chair to the car sometimes is almost feeling impossible, right? But then you see them rebound because they know there's support, there's love, there's a hope, expectation, all right? And yet we take it for granted, and it's hard for all of us to talk about it, whether we've gone through it ourselves directly or whether we were that supporting partner because a family member is there, right? Maybe Sunday we can be reminded of where we are and send a message that, like your sister, you know what? You're not winning. I'm going to be victorious, right?
Exactly. And I choose this way because there are so many causes that need help. Of course, all of them are right. But this is the one closest to my heart, and I wanted to make it different. I wanted to make it fun. I don't want to just go around and ask for money. I can do that, but I don't want to. I want it to be fun. I want people to have a good experience and realize, hey, we did something good. We helped someone today. We made a difference.
Yeah, made a difference, man. And I think I have this appreciation for life. I don't know how long I'll be able to enjoy the life I've given. And it isn't because I think I'll live forever. And it isn't that I want to be necessarily oblivious to the inevitable. It's going to happen. So it isn't the death that fears, it causes me to be this thing. It's worse. It's living in vain. Did your life matter? Not because you had great wealth and there's a statue and you got a knighthood or whatever it is that people aspire to. Did it matter? Did you make someone else's life better? Did you do all you could? And it may be, you know what? I supported charities. $5, $25. That's maybe the extent to which you feel led, right? Too much is given, much is required, right? So it's an easy thing. But again, come back at 8 o'clock Sunday morning. For some of us, we're like, guy, I'm out Saturday night. I'm going to have me a good time. 8 o'clock, I'm not getting up.
So don't go to sleep Saturday night. Go out, have fun, party. Don't go to sleep. Come to the boxing gymnasium.
Straight, right? I mean, a friend used to say to me, the best way to avoid a hangover is to stay drunk, right? I'm not advocating that. So don't go to bed. Come and do one squat. Laugh with everybody. And then come early Sunday evening. Get a good night's rest. And be ready to face the day come Monday. With a heart of service. All right.
Sounds like a good plan.
Sounds like a good plan. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. It's I've indirectly issued a challenge to someone. Let's see if she's amenable. If she is, we'll see what we can do, because we're going to be facing the same thing come Saturday evening as well, right? But it's more than just be there, sort of in spirit. Sometimes it's in participation. We can sign a check, we can make a donation. That's great. But physically being accounted for, present, can make a difference, right?
You don't want to miss all the excitement.
All excitement?
All the excitement.
So what I'm hearing is your friends are going to do at least one,
yes.
And you're going to make sure that you do the most.
I have to. I've been told I cannot win the competition because I put it together. I do appreciate the trust they put in me. But if I don't, I will do my best.
So 100 squats from you, maybe?
Maybe a little more.
Okay. So for that person who is struggling with doing one, here is an opportunity to try to do two. And it's amazing, eh? It's like push-ups, for instance. Many of us, struggle. I find doing them on your knees harder than doing them what's supposed to be the other way. So you sit on your knees, lay on your knees, and you do this. To me, I don't know if it's coordination or what, but that's difficult, right?
Okay, then I lack coordination because I still do my push-ups on my knees.
No, I can't do them on my knees. I don't have the coordination. That must be what it is. I find that one to be harder to do. I don't know if it's my hands and my legs are not, communicating properly. But you do one, and then before you know it, you're doing 100.
That's true. A little bit more. If you were this morning in the gym, I think the coach was upset with us.
I think it was us yesterday that left him in a bad mood. I'm sorry. I'm sure that's what happened yesterday. It wasn't the motivating speech from the visiting champ. I think it was the fact that we were misbehaving. So you guys felt it this morning. Put it back
me. You have to pay for that.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. But look at it this way. You feel so much better now, right? You feel like, hey, I pushed myself a little more. In fact, I probably missed this afternoon just in case that raft continues.
I'm sure he's happy by then.
You sure? I don't know, boy. It was not a good thing.
No, you cannot miss.
No. And it's amazing how when you miss it, how you feel it.
You feel guilty. Yeah. I feel terrible when I miss the gym. Yes.
I don't know that this, but you guide me. I found this with many sports, but with boxing in particular. We have a buddy system, so to speak, directly and indirectly. And so when you don't feel like going because genuinely you've had a bad day at work, there's been all sorts of demands from your customers, your colleagues, and all sorts of things, and genuinely you're exhausted, you're mentally fatigued, you may even work where it's a physical, laborious sort of task, and you're physically exhausted. You're on your feet all day, you're swinging the hammer, whatever it is, right? But because you're going to sort of indirectly, be that accountability partner for your colleague at the gym, you go. Because if you're not there, then they may not do. So when you come, you see their spirits are lifted, and at the end of the day, you're like, you know what, I'm exhausted, but now I can sleep because I'm not guilty. I've got a good exercise, and I feel that much better. Not true?
This is so true. It's so true. Whenever you think, oh no, not today, I cannot. But when you go, you feel so good. You release all the tension. It's really good. It makes a big difference, and you sleep so much better.
So much better. I mean, hey, you sleep a lot better. So unlike what Charles said, not today, Bobo. It is today, Bobo. All right. So, Mr. Ramona, let's pause, take the final break of our segment. When we come back, could we invite you to extend an invitation, people to be a part of the squat competition coming up on Expectation Day on Sunday, and to enjoy yourselves.
Thank you.
All right. When we come back, I want you to be a part of it. If you want to call, Miss Susan is right there. You might be able to see her because of all the wonderful display of love that she has received. But you can ask her about it. Ask her, who it's for, why it's been delivered. No, just kidding. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to call and ask her and then come on the air. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Are you interested in a career in IT? The Spring UCCI Cisco NetAcad is offering more than 15 scholarships to new IT Academy students. The scholarship covers half of the tuition of the cost of the course. UCCI's IT Academy courses include CompTIA A+ certification, cybersecurity, CCNA Cyber Ops, programming essentials in Python, and Internet of Things. To apply for a scholarship, visit www.ucci.edu.ky/Cisco-NetAcad-scholarship. The deadline is February 10th and classes start on February 15th.
Cayman Arts Festival is back. The 2021 festival features Cayman's artistic performers, including Cayman's musical inspiration, Glenn Inanga, Saturday, February 13th, 6:30 p.m. at the Westin Hotel Ballroom. Inanga is a multi-award winner, performed internationally, and has collaborated with Grammy Award-winning artists. See Glenn Inanga live in concert, Saturday, February 13th, 6:30 p.m. at the Westin Hotel Ballroom. Tickets are available at www.caymanartsfestival.com. For more information, call 922-5550 or email inquiries@caymanartsfestival.com. This event is sponsored by Butterfield Bank.
April 14th, 2021 is Election Day in the Cayman Islands.
Running for political office is no easy feat. You need to be everywhere, all of the time.
Now is the time to get your important messages out to the voting public.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, has always been there for incumbents and future candidates alike. Whether you want to get your political commercials or infomercials on air, make in-house studio appearances, or have your district meetings broadcast live to the listening audience.
Set a time today to meet with one of our knowledgeable Radio Cayman sales account executives who have their fingers on the pulse of the community.
Call them today on 949-7799 or email rcsales@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, we've been in the community for just about 45 years. That means something.
Sunday is Valentine's Day, and on your Yesteryear Musical Saturday night's Valentine's Day edition, it'll be a musical celebration of Valentine, love, and our continuing Seafarers' Favorite Melodies celebration. That's Saturday night at 8 p.m. on Breeze Radio, 91.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and 105.3 FM in Grand Cayman. Your Yesteryear Musicals Valentine's Day edition, Saturday evening at 8 o'clock on Breeze Radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And just a quick preview. We want you to continue, of course, with this discussion, and after the 1 p.m. headline news, we want you to come back, join our discussion. Ms. Mirabella Dacuna is going to be with us, and it's going to be another pleasure to show you, what it is to be alive and to have love. And I think the stage has already been wonderfully set with the excellent company of Ms. Ramona Bogdan as we talk about, Expectation Day this Sunday at the Dalmin Ebanks Boxing Gym, 8 a.m., a squat competition. Wow. Well, God's Spare Life, I would like to be there in person. I can't tell you to what extent I'll participate. I certainly won't be competitive, but I'll be a willing cheerleader and champion. How about that?
Well, you're welcome. We expect you to come and cheerlead.
Yeah, I shall be there, God's willing. I've made a note, Coach Floyd mentioned it to me, to put it on my calendar to moderate whatever I'm doing on the eve before, because it's good to be present and accounted for. But you were telling us the motivation for this is so touching and so indicative of why we need to have an appreciation for life.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, my sister is my motivation. Having her go through cancer, having all of us go through cancer with her, brought a different perspective, make us see things differently. Mm-hmm. Having cancer is hard, but getting help shouldn't be. So she's healthy, she's good, thank God for that. I'm grateful every day. We really don't take any day for granted. But we have to give back. We have to help.
That's right. And something that I think you say that makes us not just question, well, why me, God? And some would say, well, in a very philosophical, pensive way, well, why not me? No disrespect to anybody who says it that way and they think of it. But when we look at someone who is 25 or in their teens or even, in a single digit, and they have a diagnosis that the physician looks at you with tears and say, I'm sorry, but there's nothing that we can do. We don't have the technology. There's no vaccine. There's no research. There's nothing. That strikes home. And now
it's definitely not easy. Having been in those shoes is not easy. But you can sit down and cry and be a victim, or you can pull up your sleeves and you're not a victim. You fight. So you do your best. Our fight was keeping my sister's spirits high. Well, I think she was keeping my spirits high because I was crying the whole time. She was not. But this is how our friends, our family, our community helped us. We just make sure there's a lot of love, positivity, and we fought together.
Yeah, my uncle always says, mind over matter.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I don't think we appreciate, how powerful that is. And when you try to say to some people, they don't get it. They don't get it. But the mind is a powerful thing. Anyway.
The mind is very powerful. You're so right. Yeah. My sister was a bad patient from my point of view, because I would read that garlic is good to fight cancer. So I would bring 10 pounds of garlic. Here, eat garlic. Lemons are good for cancer, to fight cancer. Here, eat lemon. She was terrible, very bad patient. But her mind said she is so strong. She was not going to give up on her dream to being a mother. And look at her today. After having ovarian cancer, she is a mother. Yeah. So,
and I think this time around, irrespective of where we are, politically, economically, whatever that thing is, there is something that is weighing us down, justifiably so. But to be surrounded by positive people who understand the reality, who understand the trials, the tribulations, and the challenges, but who are positive, you draw from that energy, and then your spirits are gradually lifted. And then at some point, you start to realize, hope, expectation. You become powerful and empowered. And next thing, you're productive. And next thing, wow, look where I'm at. All because of hope, expectation.
Exactly. We have to set the hope. The hope should never leave our side. We have to hope.
No, man. Where there's life, there's hope. Where there's hope, there should be life, right? Let me then ask of you, because these events never happen in a vacuum. Someone has to have the impetus, the drive. There's something that motivates us to want to do it. Then there are those who draw alongside to help enhance. There are those who may provide some sort of support, in kind, financial. Respectfully, tell us who's behind, how it's helped. Give us, if it's okay with you.
Of course, thank you so much for allowing me to mention the people, the companies who are helping me make this a fun event for everybody, not just for us collecting the money. First, I would love to thank the Boxing Association for being such a generous host. Not only we can have the event at the boxing gymnasium, but the winner, the woman and the man who will perform the most squats will receive a gym membership at the boxing gymnasium. And I would also like to thank Yoshi Sushi for being so generous and offering us gift certificates to the restaurant as prizes for the participants, but also Bacaro and Steak Social. One of the winners could receive a massage at Da Vinci Center. Who doesn't like a good massage?
I've never had a massage.
You never had a massage?
Never. My friend Joel Wilson has offered. No, he hasn't. That's not true.
Okay, well, I hope you're going to win the massage, because you have to have a massage.
I've been tentative. I have never. Okay, anyway, so we got the Da Vinci
Let's
massage.
Continue. I'm not sure if this will suit you, but we also have a prize for a hairdo, cut and color.
Coloring?
Cut and color by the celebrity hairstylist Pascal Cassel. He's going to be he's at the Kimpton, so he's been very generous with his offer. And also we have Body Alive and F45 offering us gym memberships. And we are very happy for this. Cayman distributor offer us delicious champagne as part of the prizes for the winners. So everybody will be a winner just by being there.
And I'm grateful for those corporate entities for stepping up. And I think that's just another example of that sort of love that we have in our community. We are, sadly, in a society where probably not one person can say, but I don't know someone or I haven't. And that's unfortunately what it is. But we don't need to give up. We don't need to be saddened all the time.
No,
we're not saying,
don't have to. We don't have to, and our community is great. It's wonderful. I feel over all these 13 years that I have been living here, I find the community wonderful. They always step up for those in need, and it's the beautiful amalgam of nations. Is the people from everywhere coming together as a family and helping. I find that any situation that has been said but brought up to people's attention, people have always stepped up in our community, and it feels good. We are in this together.
We are in this together. And I think I don't know. Hopefully people don't mind it. But it's an election year. If you want to see how healthy your democracy is, stand up, speak up, and be there to hold people accountable because you are responsible and you're equally prepared to, hey, I'm here. And this is a great way. So Sunday morning, expectation day, we come out, you do one squat, you do 1,000. You're competitive, or you're just a participant, or you're a spectator and a cheerleader. Being present makes a difference.
Absolutely, be there and make a difference. Wake up early. Don't miss all the time all the fun time you can have.
Okay.
Be there.
Perfect, man. So we'll do that, man. And it's only $25. It's 8 a.m. It's not that late.
It's not that bad. Not that late.
Yeah.
After the night before.
Yeah, it's not that late. And if your advice is good, if still going to bed, just stay up a little bit longer. If that's your preference, and then come there. And the day is still early. You can still go and do your thing in the afternoon if you want. If you got to work the next day, you still can get home early enough to get a good night's rest. Right? Absolutely. All right. Well, 8 a.m. at the Dalby DMX Boxing Gym. Looking forward, God's willing, to being able to be physically in attendance and to be at least somewhat of a participant, contributor, spectator, champion, cheerleader, what have you, right?
Thank you so much again for helping me doing this.
It was an honor, and thanks for allowing us to invite you on to come and share. And hopefully, as people reflect on this, we didn't make them sad. We give them expectation and hope. And they look at it, whether it's something that they're experiencing now, whether it brings back a memory, that they see love. Right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
God's willing, see you 8 a.m. come Sunday morning, expectation day. Now to our listeners, after the break, we have another wonderful lady who will come to our studio. We'll talk about some other stuff. I'll see where it takes us. And I'm always a willing student who has, one of those minds that always engaged and want to learn. So, Susan's right there. She has no chocolate for today, but she does have a spirit of love as well. So, stay tuned for Talk Today.
This is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio Cayman. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I'm gonna walk them golden stairs, 'cause I know my Jesus answers all my prayers. Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Praise time.
There's nothing to go back to. Give me Jesus in the morning. For the God of the mountain is still God in the valley.
Shout with joy to God, all the earth sing glory to His name. Praise time. Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
April 14th, 2021 is Election Day in the Cayman Islands.
Running for political office is no easy feat. You need to be everywhere, all of the time.
Now is the time to get your important messages out to the voting public.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, has always been there for incumbents and future candidates alike. Whether you want to get your political commercials or infomercials on air, make in-house studio appearances, or have your district meetings broadcast live to the listening audience.
Set a time today to meet with one of our knowledgeable Radio Cayman sales account executives who have their fingers on the pulse of the community.
Call them today on 949-7799 or email rcsales@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, we've been in the community for just about 45 years. That means something.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only two species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Cayman gets a third round of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. Brought on Thursday's British Airways flight, a Facebook post from the governor says the latest consignment contains approximately 15,000 doses, the largest consignment so far. A total of 38,000 Pfizer doses supplied to Cayman from the United Kingdom so far. The governor is encouraging everyone to take the vaccine, both the first and second doses, when invited to do so, adding that it is, quote, increasingly evident they are very safe and effective and the best way to protect yourself and everyone in the community from serious illness. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Cleen Keller, a two-time Olympics gold medalist swimmer, is facing new charges in connection with the January 6th riots at the U.S. Capitol. The 6'6" tall swimmer was identified in photos of the riots because of his stature and the fact he was wearing a Team USA jacket. He was initially charged with 3 counts, but this was increased to 7 by a grand jury earlier in the week. And a judge has denied a request by Britney Spears' father to exert greater control over her finances. Jamie Spears has controlled his daughter's financial affairs since 2008, but the singer has recently indicated she wants him removed. On Thursday, a judge upheld a previous ruling that made a financial company a co-conservator for the singer. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
All right. Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you so much. I am so honored and privileged to go from someone who really had a little or no interest for being in the media, certainly not behind a microphone in any shape, form, or fashion, to having days like today where I feel the love, the warmth, and almost like I guess Ms. Norma would say, oh, he's special, all right. Well, to have this opportunity to have a discussion about love and about appreciation for self and for being selfless. Miss Mirabella Dacona, Miss Mirabelle. Good afternoon and welcome, and thanks for making my day what promises to be the start of a better life going forward, despite it being election year. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I am well. I am happy. I am grateful.
Thank you for that, because I think too many times people see people who smile, and forgive my colloquialisms at times, but sometimes in our society we see people who smile and laugh, and we look at them. Again, not trying to disrespect anybody who says this. We'll say, oh, look at that grin-teeth fool. No care in the world. But if you don't laugh, you don't feel life. And if you don't have life, then, well, you don't have life. But laughter and sincerity and passion brings you to a space where you just embrace the positive things of life, and you feel, like how just before, Ramona was reminding us, expectation, hope can propel you to achieve great things if you embrace life. Is that how it is?
I think there are different perspectives,
Okay.
and all are beautiful because they come to us in the journey of self-growth, which is a journey of accepting and loving ourselves.
Is that hard for people to do? Love, I mean, we read somewhere, say, love thy neighbor as thyself. And some of us don't love ourselves. But yet, okay, so is it hard to love yourself?
I can only speak from my experience because, the truth we know the most is the one that we're living or that we've experienced. And I found it very hard to love myself. And I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I was chasing achievement because it was a way to receive appreciation and, validation, which I was mistaking for love.
Okay. So let me ask, because why are you guys here today? You're making me talk about myself. Like you, it's hard to do for yourself. We can read about it. We know it's important. Self-love, self-care. All these things are important. Take time to, decompress. Take time to regroup. All the things that are important. But we somehow internalize that as if we were being selfish. So whether you go into the boxing gym or you swim or walk on the beach or you escape into Barcas. Not many people go Barcas. It's not a nice place. Stay away from there. The quiet and the solitude, the respect that you get from being in these places so that you can be alone with your thoughts and you can, make life better. Some of us say, well, we're being selfish because, you're not doing it for somebody else.
Yeah, it's a very valid question, and I guess we're raised so much to achieve for ourselves, but to say that we're kind of like doing things for others.
Right.
I had a teacher, a guru, that once said to me, it's okay to be selfish, but not self-centered.
There's a difference.
There is a difference because when you're self-centered, it's all about I, me, myself, and I don't really care about anybody else. When you're selfish in a beautiful way, and I would like the listeners here just to, take away all the connotations that we have from this word and to revisit this word like a new sunrise. You don't know what it's going to look like, and you're curious, right? And when you're selfish, you're doing like what they tell you in the airplanes, the days when we used to travel in airplanes, put your oxygen mask on first.
Okay, and I get that. And as you said, I hear constantly the words of my sisters. If you don't take care of yourself, how can you provide for others? But really and truly, if you take care of yourself as you should, right, put the mask on first before you're in a situation where your child is there. Very few parents are going to worry about themselves. The safety and protection and provision of that child is paramount because that's all that matters, right? How many times have you seen the mother wrestling the child from the paws of the bear? Her safety isn't important. It's the child. In the animal kingdom, it's the same. So selfish and self-centered. I say English is probably one of the worst and best languages because love alone has so many connotations. I mean, I truly love chocolate, but not the same way I may love fish dinner. I'm just saying, right? So is it then that we have somehow preconceived notions, misconceptions, and have been conditioned to believe that this has to have a negative connotation because, selfish and self-centered is one and the same, but it isn't.
It isn't, and I'm a parent too. I have a 9-year-old.
Congratulations!
So, thank you. So, and it is an act of constantly finding patience and kindness and compassion for oneself and, and the journey as a parent. But I do want to say that there's a lot of commercialism around the word self-care. When you look, like for example, you look at motherhood and you see all these beautiful pictures of mummies holding their babies and they look like so happy and so in love, and they're not showing you the pictures when like the baby burps on you, right?
Are you up now?
It's advertising. So we have to be cautious about this sort of American dream that's made out of self-care. Self-care can be extremely simple. It can take just a minute to 5 minutes.
Wow.
It's about a little morsel. 1 millimeter a day makes a centimeter in 10 days. Right?
1 inch a day. How many inches in a mile? So step by step. sounds simple, but for many people that are listening now, and even for me, and I must thank you for this, because this has challenged me to read things that I've never, I wouldn't say desired, never made time to read, because it didn't fall into the genre. It didn't fit my sort of mindset. This is that thing that I get to when I'm at the stage. And yet, we see how much that we know if we take away the language, how much it is so simple, but yet it seems to be difficult for us to comprehend and to apply. Why is that? Is it the language? Is it the culture? Is it the conditioning? I mean,
I think all of the above. I think a lot of us are conditioned with this idea that there has to be a struggle, or there has to be a distance between what I want and when I get it, right? I have to work so hard to get this. When I do this, then I'll be able to achieve this or that. And the energy is the field of energy, and how it works is you attract wherever your energy goes, right? Whatever. So if we're thinking of struggle, then we're going to invite that. That said, struggle may currently be present, right? In all of our lives in different ways. But it's how we approach that struggle. Whether we fight it or we say, hey, how can I like, fight it head on? Or can I be like water and navigate around it? How can I be creative in this situation, and I mean, growing up in India taught me that, because it's we've got a huge population.
A little bit more than West Bay, but yeah. Okay.
and you learn how to navigate, if you can do something one way, then you say, well, how can I make it easier for myself and others? How can I approach it differently? A simple thing like, you're at the supermarket, you go in like just before it closes, and the cashier's just like waiting for you to get out.
What are you in here? Yeah.
Exactly. And then based on where we are, we can get triggered because like I'm waiting to get home too, right? And you can either not say anything and kind of like try to hurry it up and watch someone be disgruntled, or you could just make a simple statement like, it looks like you're waiting to get home just like me.
Yeah.
And you will see that person's energy just shift.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate it, and I didn't realize it until you said it then. I would say to them, so sorry I'm late, I realize you're closing, but and they're still agitated, but they're a little bit different for the most part, most people. But I also find that even in instances, they're on the receiving end of kindness. Many of us can't. So there's a few of us that tried to do something paid forward. So when I heard it, I don't know, last year seemed like a century ago, but I think I may have heard someone make that appeal. If you forgive me, I think it might have been Mr. Ort on our morning show, For the Record, say it. I'm pretty sure I heard him. Listen, you're in the cash here, and you're checking out in the cash line. Offer to pay for the person behind you, right?
Absolutely.
And I was going to call him on it because I did that a couple of times long ago. All but one occasion, the people looked at me like, "Who do you think you are? I can pay for myself. What do you want?" Right? I'm like, "You got $5, you got $50. I just got a big bonus." Let me say this, and these were older people, these were stranger people, and most times I do it without just add this, whatever. But we can't say, "Well, thank you." We don't know how to take the compliment. We misread it. Again, the Western world.
Yeah, so it's I do the same thing actually. But what I do is I just buy a gift card and tell the cashier, give it to whoever whenever they need it. So I don't talk about the next person, because I know how that can be triggering. Not because the person doesn't appreciate the gesture, but because, and coming back to self-love, if we feel inadequate in some way, we might get triggered by someone trying to help us. Like, it's hard to take. Our society doesn't appreciate community in a way that, it's okay to ask for help. Asking for help is not weak. It takes courage to ask for help.
Yeah. Okay, so when you come back from this break, could we, in our discussion, ask a couple of things? We had this schedule way back when, and despite what may be upsetting to some people, what may have been a huge surprise with the announcement relative to the election, I somehow find that this can tie into it. The anxiety, the apprehension, the frustration, the aggravation, all the things maybe tie it into that. And then I want to maybe ask, if it's appropriate, I want to be guided by you, the notion of me time and having that negative connotation, and then possibly the 5 love languages, possibly. Would that be fine?
Absolutely.
Listen, you're listening. The opportunity is to call, and who knows what your contribution, comment, query, or question may trigger. But if you stay silent, that means you're either attentive and listening. If you ask a question, we know for sure that you want to be a part of this equation. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
That thing we've been saying for 64 years? Ignore it. Eat the KFC wings, drink the KFC gravy, fill up on fries. Just please forget the thing we normally suggest. You know, that thing you used to do with your tongue after finishing a delicious piece of our KFC chicken. We get it. It's not easy. There's a reason why it's been our slogan for over half a century. But the world's drastically changed of late, and as soon as we can embrace the change, the sooner we can all get back to doing what we do best. KFC. It's good.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended August 31st, various life cycle funds provided returns between 9.2% and 16.5%, and our all-in expense ratio is currently the lowest it's ever been, a record low at 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
Maintaining a strong mind and body through sports and general healthy living is a good course of action. But what about your spiritual man, your inner man? He has to be awakened, fed, exercised, strengthened, and led according to the will of God. So, have you heard the call? I'm Evangelist Brother Joseph Joey Ebanks, and I'm inviting you to worship Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7:30. We are bringing the Word of God to our communities as Jesus commanded. Faith comes by hearing, so come and hear. Bring your own chair or simply park and listen to the Word of God from your vehicle, covering the Cayman Islands with the Word of God, one community at a time.
Have you heard the call? We'll be at the junction of Reverend Blackman Road and Stadium Drive, West Bay on February 10th and 11th at 7:30 p.m.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
The record. For information that matters to you, the people. Hear from the government, the opposition, independents, and other experts on issues and solutions that affect you. For the record. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, tune into 89.9 and 93.9 FM from 7:30 to 9 a.m. for Cayman's new Straight Talk Morning Show. For the record.
I invite you to join me for the record. You are invited to be a part of this interesting and informative show. Embrace the opportunity to dialogue with your legislators, policymakers, and those charged with policy implementation.
For the record. Brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors.
Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
Enjoy some family fun at Festival by the Sea at Coral Beach this Ash Wednesday, February 17th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. featuring arts and crafts, fresh produce, food stations, bands, DJs, and a heap of activities. Fair games, bouncy castle, water slide, dunk tank, fun trucks, video gaming, outdoor laser tag, Miss Bubbles the Clown with face painting, new fire trucks, and more. Adults $5, kids under 12 free. Proceeds benefiting the NCVO. For vendor information, contact hello@thisismonster.com. Visit the Festival by the Sea at Coral Beach, February 17th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Brought to you by AI Rentals, Rankins Farm, and Fun Trucks Cayman.
Sunday is Valentine's Day, and on your Yesteryear Musical Saturday night's Valentine's Day edition, it'll be a musical celebration of Valentine, love, and our continuing Seafarer's Favorite Melodies celebration. That's Saturday night at 8 p.m. on Breeze Radio, 91.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and 105.3 FM in Grand Cayman. Your Yesteryear Musicals Valentine's Day edition, Saturday evening at 8 o'clock on Breeze Radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks for maybe taking a second and paying attention, because there's always something for someone, and somehow some things speak to our spirit in a way that we don't always appreciate then and there, but it comes back. And when it does hit you then and there, stop what you're doing, because it is for you. Ms. Mirabelle Dacona, as we look at this notion of where we are in the world today, in our personal lives, the chaos, the confusion, the conflict, the notion that there's a sense of charity because there's an ulterior motive, there's a sense of public service because there's a political gain, the sense of a relationship, however that's defined, because somebody sees that down the road there is this thing that's going to accrue significant dividends. But it's never about genuine, sincere, honest communication, acceptance, love. We have to find that balance, right? So could I then ask of you then, well, first off, with that in mind, what would you share with us with where we are in today, and appreciating, we have a lot that we can and should be doing, but a lot that we need to question as well?
I think, if I don't love myself, I cannot offer to somebody else. If you come to my home and I don't have food for myself, I cannot offer to you.
Yeah.
And so I think the journey begins with loving myself.
Okay.
And asking myself what love looks like to me. What does loving myself look like to me?
Okay.
What does it feel like? What is it, it could look like different things. It could be going exercising to somebody just once a week. It doesn't have to be every day. It could look like sleeping more. It could look like not trying to be perfect all the time. Right? This came to me in meditation a while ago. Perfection is a perception of certainty.
Perfection is a perception of certainty.
So when we think of something as perfect, in whatever way perfect looks like to us, it's a perception of certainty, right? Like that when things are perfect, I can do things. So what's perfect? Perfect is looking for safety. It's looking for certainty. And if I can free myself from it, and that's where, depending on your belief system, belief in energy or in God, or however it comes to the universal law of love, where is our trust? I think in this time we really need to ask, where do I truly place my trust in life? Where, and when I'm saying I place my trust in God, for example, what does that look like? What does trust look like? Because if I don't have the experience of it, if it's just a word or faith or, whatever it is, then I am not resourced.
Okay.
And the word resource is to go to source, right?
I just wrote down resource when you were saying that. I just wrote, but what is it the scripture talks about? Don't put your trust in flesh. All right, because man will disappoint, and yet we trust the government, the particular business leader, the doctor for the diagnosis, the technician for reading it properly. We put that trust, right? Sometimes even misplaced trust in our partners or parents or siblings or offspring and the like, because we don't love ourselves, we don't have enough self-confidence, self-esteem. But then we get beat down because of the expectations that we must look like this.
Yes. So for me personally, the practice of breath work, yogic breathwork, which is what I practice. And to take away again all the connotations of the word yoga as exercise or being associated with a religion, it is a way of living. And why I particularly love breath is because breath has no religion. Breath is universal resourcing. Without the source through which life comes, and life comes only through breath as we know it. So it doesn't matter what you believe in or what you call, how you relate to how the world is created, sustained, whatever. The fact is that we are all breathing, and something is causing us to breathe. And that has no color and no name. We call it breath. It didn't call itself breath. And in every moment, it's choosing to come to us. It doesn't have to. What's in breath or life, associate breath with life. What's in life to come into you or me or anybody right now? What's in it for life? What is it getting out of us? Nothing. We're only taking from life, aren't we? And so if this act, this physical act that is both, breath is both voluntary and involuntary, if this is present, then we can trust that there is something for us, which is why we are alive.
No.
And that's not that doesn't depend on a belief system or whether someone will let us down or not. And it's self-empowering.
But then, does there have to be a will, as we know it in this part of the world? You have to have that will. We talk about the political will, the economic will, that personal will. Some of us have that yearn for life, that will.
Yes,
right?
It's a longing. It's a desire.
Yeah.
It's love.
Love.
Ah,
okay.
Love can be an expectation that is born out of a desire or longing to receive. But love can also be a longing to give, to trust, to know that it's okay if trust is broken, because sometimes that's what we need to grow.
Oh, wait a minute. Trust is, because that's the one thing that we have. And I may ask in that respect, relationships and the like. A friend of mine, a very good friend, reminded me that in poetry there are two things, love and death. And maybe that's why some of us love poetry, because there is the emotion, there is the passion. But if you read between what Yeats or others may share, you see the realness of what is there, and it speaks to you, right? So in relationships, trust, communication, whether that's business or other relationship, you're a politician to the constituent. When it's that trust is broken, then all love, hope, expectation is lost.
Are we associating love with expectation? Because when in my examination of myself through these years of practicing, I noticed that I am most disappointed not when I'm trusting the other, but when I'm expecting from the other. But I trust that no matter what happens, I will navigate this as a journey of growth, of forgiveness, forgiving myself for expecting too much.
So then we have misplaced expectations, unfounded, but could we also have uncommunicated expectations?
Yes. And so much of relationships of all kinds is about not calling out the elephant in the room.
But that's not easy, is it?
It's not, because we're not comfortable with it.
So how? Okay.
So first, introspection, what we call svadhyay, self-study, and then seeing what about this is uncomfortable for me. And there's a process. So you make an observation about what's happening, a neutral observation, right?
Okay.
And then you could share your feeling. Like, let me give you an example. Let's say that it's too cold in this room. Okay, it's not, but if it was, I could say, this room's too cold. Like, you need to or I could say, I noticed that the room is cold.
Same thing, but
I noticed that the room feels cold. And then or I could sit here through the whole show not talking about it and suffering through, because it's uncomfortable for me, because I'm from India and we like warm climates.
I'm from SB,
So it's a very sort of naive example.
But it's a great example. Yeah.
And then I say to you, it makes me uncomfortable when I'm cold, because I want to give my full attention to this conversation. and I'm not able to do that. So I'm saying what's uncomfortable, but I'm telling you that it's not your fault. And I'm telling you that why I wanted to shift is because I care about this show, this conversation, and these listeners.
Okay.
And so you don't feel attacked. Most of the time we say, well, you made me feel like that. No, well, I didn't make you feel like that. That you're thinking like that, you know? So it's about how we hold space, or rather we embrace the needs of the other person and ourselves.
So it's not only what we say, but how we say it.
Absolutely. The feeling inside.
Okay.
And the language.
I like your example because for me, I find when people talk about soft skills, I thought, but those are things that they're not soft, they're important. Those are things they should know. The please and the thank yous, the good manners, the sense. And so to your example, I always try to ask people, how's the temperature in here? Do you know, so that you feel, I did that unconsciously because that's what I was taught. You do that to be considerate. Now, having you say that to me, it's realize that should not just be something that I do and dismiss it. That's something that I do and realize that it's important. Because if the temperature is too cold or too warm, how can your guests feel comfortable? So thanks for that. That's in a sense an appreciation for doing a good thing.
Yeah. So in a relationship, you could say, I'm noticing that maybe we aren't getting enough time to communicate. I'm feeling like I want to connect more deeply with you instead of like, you don't have the time for me. You see how that would change it?
It's the same thing
though.
But
But it's not, because it's coming from a space of respect and love for the relationship. It's it would be wonderful to connect more deeply.
Maribela Lacuna is not only insightful, but if you take this teaching for free, you come up with an invaluable education. Could we then ask of you, in that respect, after this break, Sunday, I've changed it because Ms. Ramona said that the name should not be Expectation, they're not St. Valentine's Day, I like that. In relationships, can we maybe speak to the spouses, to those partners, the communication, and hey, we're not talking enough, we're not spending enough time together. How do we get people to a space? And let's assume that one realizes it and the other doesn't. Let's also talk to the case where one has said, hey, you're not here when I need you, and the other's like, So maybe those things, all right, there's no prize except you've been empowered. Yeah, there's no reward except you've been given a great gift. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has lots of great reasons why you should choose a Toyota Corolla Hybrid or CHR Hybrid for your new ride. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven, so you don't ever have to worry about plugging them in. Both are super quiet as well as economical and fun to drive. So stop by Vant Motors to check out a new, fuel-efficient, eco-friendly Toyota Corolla Hybrid for only $26,900 or a sporty CHR Hybrid starting from $34,150 while stock lasts. Go Toyota. Go hybrid. Go to Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
How can you take your business from good to great and thrive in the new normal? By finding the smartest, most powerful IT solutions to optimize your business operations. And now, Digicel Business Hub is making it simple for you. High-speed Wi-Fi, mobile and office phones, IT security, Microsoft Office with Teams, and much more. Everything your business needs to level up in the new normal. Get world-class IT for your business with Digicel Business Hub. Sign up today. Call us on 623-3444 or visit our website, digicelbusiness.com.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks too to Mirabelle for being our guest. This discussion on this weekend, given what it is from the commercial perspective, what it is for the budding love, what it is for that love that have been grown, perhaps old and cold, and especially in the political realm with what we've just had the other day. For some, it's like, wow, how dare they? And then coupled with what is now transpiring globally, the fact that people probably can't attend sports events, can't do this, can't do that. And yet, we can. We should embrace. We should love. If I could then ask, as we go into the break, this notion that in relationships, it could be the business partners not sharing, hey, listen, we're hemorrhaging because we're making losses in this production line, or we've got a lot of excess cash, but we're not investing it. And they're not communicating, this bickering, whether the business is doing well or not. Maybe aside, let's focus on the relationships. Initially, given that Sunday is expectation day, the couples, all right? No communication, one desiring one, other saying, how do we get to a space where they come to understand where they are and they do something that brings them a greater joy and quality of life?
So, just before I was driving for my last student and coming here, and just before that, I saw an email from you, and you said someone was asking about the language of love.
Yeah.
And I think this ties in. It's a good segue into the question that you asked. In the past, and I love the the reading from the Bible that we usually do at weddings, right? Love is this and love is that. But I think we've heard it so many times that we're kind of like on autopilot with it.
Yeah.
And if you to ask me in the present day, like with all this technology and like everything, how would I explain the language of love to somebody? And I'd say just 3 words. Love is attention.
Attention.
The language of love is expressed through attention. Whether it's kindness or hope or consolation or encouragement, it has only one medium: giving attention to the person or the object or the job or like nature or whatever it is that you love.
Okay.
That kind of an attention is a nourishing attention. And when we're saying we're also busy and we're disconnected, and there's we're very online connected and really disconnected. What's missing is attention. Someone's saying, my kid says to me, Mama, can you put your phone down? And that to me is a sign that, hey, you know what, I need to tell my students. And it's been crazy since COVID. I had 3 days off last year, right? The levels of anxiety, insomnia, suicidal thoughts on this island have been absolutely incredible. And so then it's but I can get my kids fine, so I've got to give these people attention. And I said, no. So setting boundaries, right? And then saying, I'm available till this time. And then I care about you, Dwayne. When I'm here, I'm 100% here. If I was here, like you mentioned, if you were here and checking your phone while asking me questions, I wouldn't feel care.
Yeah.
So what you and I are offering to each other right now is attention. What the listeners are offering to us, whether they're driving or however, in the best capacity that they can, they are offering attention.
Yeah.
And from that attention, we get something. If you listen deeply to our conversation, you might receive something. Because we are eye to eye and having this conversation, you and I are both receiving something. Even if it's just, I can see it, there's nonverbal cues, right? But that can't happen without attention. So the language of love in modern day life is the language of love is attention.
Wow.
And then, when you said about couples, and it's hard, I'm saying this is true. We have a kid, we both work, we love our work. What we did, something very simple, was like have 3 non-negotiables in the day. You can have 1. Okay, so the non-negotiable is like no matter what happens, that has to be done.
Okay.
Like it's an interaction between yourself and your spouse. Like for us, it's a morning kiss, right? And one on the forehead because it's so sweet and respectful. So no matter whether I'm teaching a class at like 6 a.m. or, he's got a work meeting, sometimes you don't have the time to talk, but you look in each other's eye and then you have that one kiss. And that's all for the day. And that one kiss, you're not like paying attention to anything else. You're not saying anything else. And that's enough connection some days because that's all you can get in. Right?
Yeah.
So make some non-negotiables, at least one in your relationship, something you do every day. Like somebody offers to make the bed every day, for example, while somebody else makes the coffee. This could be your non-negotiable expression of love.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know what works for you.
Right.
Discuss it with your partner and just have that. How much time does it take to do that? Nothing. But you know that even when I'm busy, like we have house guests, or like I've hosted international yoga teachers, and then they're living in your house, and there's and that one quiet while you're talking, one little moment is like, yes, we love each other. We're there.
All right. So let me ask. We're speaking to Maribel Dacona, and as you share that, I'm reflecting because there are a couple of things that immediately jump out. We're not, as people in this part of the world, as open and as receptive to talking about these things. We don't understand. We hear the importance of communication, but we don't practice it. And worse, the notion of attention. We can see in our relationships, we probably heard from our friends, well, if she's not giving you attention, you get it somewhere else. If he's not showing you attention, right? And we misunderstand what that means. But then, those non-negotiables, let me ask, there are some things that may seem like chores, they may seem like habitual, traditional. I'm gathering from you that it's not that. This is something that must be because it's a desire.
Yeah.
I like the idea of okay.
Sorry.
No.
We have a word in Sanskrit, which is a very ancient language from India, and it's bhavana. And if you don't need to know what it means, right, but you just listen to it, bhavana, it means the heartfelt sentiment that stems from your desire.
Passion, desire, same thing? No?
Passion has many connotations, right?
Okay.
Especially in the space of love. So I think I'd like to,
desire?
For now, inner sentiment, the feeling, the emotion, the intention from which the action stems is what affects the quality of the action. We can be polite because it's proper to be polite, right? But we can truly care for somebody and say, would you like a hug? Or like, would you like a hug? Chin up, would you like a hug? I mean, I'm not being prejudiced towards any culture or anything. All our cultures, we're all a little messed up in different ways. So
true.
So it's a good soup, But but it's the feeling from which we are communicating, the energy. It's all energy. It's the energy of communication, which changes how the person responds to it.
Yeah. I like what you say because for me, words are important. They shouldn't just be said. There's a strong connotation and inference from a word. So passion, desire to me are different. Desire, yearning, longing, desire. You desire something, you tend to pursue it. And if you do something because it's expected, it's just almost becomes like a cliche in some things that we say. The Proverbs 31 woman that we read about at funerals, the notion that love is kind, not blind, and doesn't judge. We probably can repeat it, but do we embrace it? So how then do we get to a space where with this non-negotiable, 1 or 3, that it's an understanding. It's not validation and expectation, but it is desire. That seems to some to be, I don't know, that's them, not us. But if we embrace it, it makes what we have, so the 50-year anniversary becomes the 75th anniversary. training? Is that...
It is, I love science, and let me put it very simply. Every time we have a thought which translates into words, right? The energy of thought translates into words, which translates into speech, which is a kind of action or a physical action. Your nerve cells, like the neurons, they fire together. And as they say in science, and yoga said it thousands of years ago, whatever fires together wires together, right? And it's electrical impulses from one synapse to the other. So if we have been visiting a relationship or a thought with ourselves or with others in a certain way for like 30 years, that's not going to change overnight, because we need to rewrite the neural pathways. It's like we need to slowly end that, or like dissolve that computer program, and we need to replace it with a new program that's more efficient, more kind, more, and that cannot happen overnight. Because if you used to, I wake you up in the middle of the night, I say brush your teeth, you're used to brushing your teeth with your left hand, I say brush your teeth with your right hand, you can't do it because you haven't done it enough of times. Are you not capable of doing it? Of course you're capable of doing it. It's the same thing with relationships. So I feel you if you feel like it's an uphill task, if you're in a relationship and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel you. I have been there. It's painful, it's dark, it's depressing. And I think all of us go through it at different times. But that's where the self-love is. Like, I want to have the most incredible life. I deserve the most incredible life in a way that incredible looks to me, not to the government, not to my parents, not to my spouse. And I can have a dream that we share together, a vision. But even in a relationship, we are different individuals. I cannot look for somebody to complete me, because then I have expectations. But if I say, I'm looking, can I support you in your growth? Can you support me? This is how I like to be supported. Because sometimes, in a relationship, for example, if I like chai, I might make you chai because I think what I love if someone makes me a cup of chai. But you like coffee. So you're like, oh, well, she made me chai. I have to be polite and drink this thing. And it's like, it's the elephant in the room. So ask the person that you're with or that you're not with and want to be with, or like you're warring with, or like, whatever. We have so many stages of relationships. Take off this Valentine's Day pressure and just ask, like, how do you like to be loved? Or if you feel like I'm not with you enough or I don't communicate enough, what does communication look like to you? I work all the time with couples. Actually, I work a lot with mostly women with relationship things. And it usually starts from like uterus issues, or like they come with a physical ailment. And then as we do the one-on-ones, different things precipitate. And then sometimes we'll do couple sessions. And you'll be amazed how relationships change after a few breathing practices together. And, these can, like, what does communication look like to you?
All right. So after this break, maybe we'll ask you about just relationship stages. And there are those who've been there, who just starting out, who may be facing communication issues and their separation and all those things, and what love should look like. Maybe we'll ask you about that if you're okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, I don't know who else is learning about. Susan, this is good stuff, huh? She said, yeah, better than chocolate. All right. We'll pause and take a break. Maribel will return with us, and I don't know, love is in the air. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Cayman Arts Festival is back. The 2021 festival features Cayman's artistic performers, including Cayman's musical inspiration, Glenn Inanga, Saturday, February 13th, 6:30 p.m. at the Westin Hotel Ballroom. Inanga is a multi-award winner, performed internationally, and has collaborated with Grammy Award-winning artists. See Glenn Inanga live in concert Saturday, February 13th, 6:30 p.m. at the Westin Hotel Ballroom. Tickets are available at www.caymanartsfestival.com. For more information, call 922-5550 or email inquiries@caymanartsfestival.com. This event is sponsored by Butterfield Bank.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And sometimes when you plan things, you think you're being smart. Then you realize, wow, good thing there's a higher power guiding you, because I believe the opportunity today to speak to Ms. Maribel O'Connell was not just opportune, but ordained. Given the tumultuous times in which we find ourselves, even on the political landscape, I can see right now that prospective candidate or those candidates who were known, and then the government makes this announcement. Good political play on one part, and then a ploy that has created a lot of, challenges for the other part. But if we see it in terms of love, in terms of giving and not just taking, there can be a better outcome, right? So when we look at relationships then, and Sunday for some, it's going to be the same old same. It's going to be this...
Crying.
Yeah.
That was me. Like, oh no, why does this day have to come and I'm alone?
Yeah.
I've been there.
and then we get creative. We have an anti-Valentine's Day and all these things, right? And then there's a flip side where the people who gonna do the commercial thing and they're tried and they're true. Now, if this is improper, you tell me now so I don't do it. Used to hear people say, if you don't have something good to say, don't say it. I've never subscribed to that. Because if you don't say what's on your mind, and one, people might know, and two, it's going to eat at you, going to kill your energy, probably give you an ulcer. Mm-hmm. So just deal with the elephant in the room. I don't know. That's not my style.
Yeah, I see why people say that. Mm-hmm. And I think perhaps, because we can only perceive, we mm-hmm. cannot know what's in another.
Right.
That they say that because their intention is to protect other people from hurt. If I don't say what's... Because, I used to be so frank. I was like, but I'm being honest.
Exactly.
And everybody was like, you're really rude. You shouldn't, because that really hurts people. But I'm being honest. Like, aren't we supposed to be honest? Yeah. And, we have this practice in yoga, and I think everybody in the world is familiar with Mahatma Gandhi, right? Mm. And he was exemplary in this practice. It's called ahimsa, or non-violence. Mm-hmm. And the use of language in relationships and in the relationship with ourselves, because when I'm talking to myself, I'm using language, and that's manifesting my reality. Mm-hmm. We need to learn how, because there are tools and techniques of how to use language so that I can communicate what my need is, mm-hmm. while also giving you space, or giving the other person space to communicate their need. When we're saying, you mentioned earlier about, love should be about giving, it sounds very good, but if you ask me, even now, if you say love should be about giving, I'm like, but I want for me too.
What about me?
I'm being honest. So there's, this thing of a win-win situation that, mm-hmm. we talk about in work situations a lot, how do you create a win-win? What's beautiful is to say, this is my need. What is your need? How can we meet each other? Because love shouldn't be about giving at the cost of our own longings, and I mean soul longings, right? Because love is about expansion. Like if two people are in a relationship of any kind, the ultimate aim of it, in my limited understanding, is to support each other's growth. And as we grow, our growth should inspire us and inspire others to do good.
As you share that, I look at a personal philosophy, and it works, sadly, sometimes to your detriment, because people will take. But I believe if each person gives his or her all to the job, to the relationship, to that thing, you give your all. You're playing a sport, you leave it all on the field, you give your all. And everybody does that, then everybody will receive all. So I can imagine two partners in a relationship being of service, of, voluntary giving, consensually giving all to the other. Nobody will lack. I mean, or is that naive?
No, I don't think it's naive. I think if we can give to ourselves with that, which comes back to self-care, if I can give to myself with comfort and not feel guilty, it's not an indulgence to take a nap, for example, or, whatever it is for each person. It is a replenishment. It is a nourishment that allows me to be more present instead of being drowsy when I'm with somebody, for example.
Exactly.
And so I think, just changing keeping it fluid, because I'm finding more and more that every day a new insight comes in meditation, and what I thought, what we thought the world was a few months ago, it's not.
Not at all.
What we thought was solid and unshakable and unchangeable and always going to be there is not. And so getting stuck on any fixed idea, whether it's about love or these non-negotiables in love or whatever, even what I'm sharing, it's only an opinion and a perception what I'm sharing. It's my truth from the practice of yoga. It's not necessarily in the right flavor for everybody. And keeping our awareness fluid so that we're not closing ourselves to anything. We don't have to accept everything, but we can be open. I read some things that are totally out of my area of expertise or interest, particularly because they will trigger me. Because that's not spiritual. But I particularly read them because I need to make sure I'm not insulating myself in a fake world of spirituality.
And I think too, I enjoy reading, and there was a time when I felt that taking that time to read whatever that is was a selfish endeavor. It was great pleasure. I didn't care what it was. I just like to read. More than, I call it, probably offensively to some people, as I look at the TV screen, the one-eyed monster, because to me that's only giving me one thing, right? But if we don't read these things out of our comfort zone, then how do we know what else exists? How do we cement our own beliefs and become convinced and convicted and positioned to be able to defend, but equally to grow?
Yeah, I think it's all about clarity, right?
Right.
If I'm insecure, I need to defend. We say that there are 3 types of listeners, and this is whether you're listening to yourself or you're listening to another or you're listening on a radio show. The first kind of listener is the one that looks to listen to agree, to validate what you're saying. Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. Nothing wrong with these 3 types of listening, okay? Just want to say, but it's just an observation to be aware of. The second type of listener is the one that defends. No, but I did it because, and you could be doing this to yourself in your head. It doesn't have to be another person. And the third type of listener is the one that is curious.
Okay.
So the curious listener is not looking for an end result. It's not looking for validation of belief or for defending their point of view, or the curious listener is just like a kid that doesn't know what something, when you first give kids food, they don't know, they're picking everything and mashing everything and throwing it off there.
I still do that. I pick it apart. I want to know what it is. So is that curious listener? Because I used to call it the active listener. it's very taxing. You're exhausted, mental after, because you're processing, what did that person say? Then you ask a question and you engage. And I think the art of conversation, as I know it, as it is to me, is lost. There's nothing more beautiful than to sit with someone, whether you're partners, whether you're, male and female, whether it's two, and you're talking and you're engaged and you're interactive and you're learning and you're laughing and you're questioning. And next thing you know, there's a difference of opinion, but there's respect. All right, we have the news break to take. I know you have an extra couple of minutes with us. We're so gracious and grateful for the time. But to our listeners who are listening, I always say I'm always so humble that they'll spend some time with us. Hopefully this will be beneficial. So in the 10 to 15 minutes when you return, continue to share with us. Who knows what expectation day on Sunday will be like for some people. All right, we'll pause and take a break, and when we come back, a few more minutes with Mirabella and then some open line. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
CNCF is hosting the National Arts and Culture Awards on Thursday at the Harkwell Theatre. The event is open to the public, and while there is no admission fee, those interested in attending do need to make a reservation by calling the Cultural Foundation's office. The Australian state of Victoria will enter lockdown for a third time in a bid to suppress an outbreak of the UK strain of the coronavirus. Officials this week found 13 cases stemming from a quarantined worker who became infected at a Melbourne hotel. The lockdown will begin on Friday midnight and end on Wednesday. However, the government had said the Australian Open tennis tournament would continue in the state's capital, Melbourne. And new research shows a drug normally used to treat arthritis could be a lifesaver for some of the sickest hospital patients with COVID. For every 25 patients treated with tocilizumab, along with a cheap steroid already routinely given, an additional life would be saved, according to experts. Some hospitals are now doing this, as well as improving survival and recovery time. It can help patients avoid needing to be moved to intensive care. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Your voice, your choice, your radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And if you're listening and paying attention, and if you have a question or comment, you just want to make a contribution, you know what? Make us feel good. Validate us. No, just kidding. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. You know what? Maybe the lines are not working. Give us a shout and share with us, because I'm interested to see what you think. For me, it's always important about learning, living, and loving. Laughter is good medicine. But it's genuine laughter that makes you realize that you appreciate. That uncensored laugh is not forced. It comes from a space of love and respect and appreciation. So 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Mirabella Lacuna, you have been a blessing, as Miss Ramona earlier reminded us of the gift of life and love, and her squat challenge on Sunday. I think we don't embrace life enough. We don't embrace each other enough, and we don't show appreciation, give thanks. That's just what I think, but what do you think?
I think silence is a beautiful space that is very uncomfortable in the beginning, where we can offer this to each other.
Silence. Yeah. But yet we use silence in a negative way, or we say to people, oh, your silence speaks volumes. All right? And yet, there can be a deafness in the silence. And again, all negative, but the unspoken word usually followed by the look or the touch, the embracing of the moment, whatever that is. I think of, parent and child just interacting, or two people after a long voyage or some ordeal just embracing. There's nothing else. There's nothing of anything other than you can see it, love, however you define that. And yet we don't appreciate that. We're not willing to display that because you don't do that anymore. That's for them. And we miss so much when we don't, right?
Yeah. All intimacy begins with silence of all kinds, spiritual, human, all kinds of human relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a question off here. Someone posed a question, and I'll repeat it how it was given to Miss Susan. What happens when love hurts? Now, some would say love should never hurt, but that's how the question...
Of course love hurts.
Okay. Okay. So tell us about it. I mean, let's tap into this expertise and experience. And so what happens?
So the first thing is to allow yourself to feel the hurt. And, we are trained to be in a state of distraction. If, a child falls down and gets hurt or something, says, oh, well, it's okay, stop crying, I'll get you candy or, whatever. But hurt hurts. Pain hurts. And it's okay to feel the whole spectrum of that pain. Because what we don't let go of stays inside and infests us. It causes an infection, literally, energetically. It causes a blockage in the energy channels in the body. And so the first thing I would say is, acknowledge to yourself, I'm hurt. And it feels like this. And notice where in your body that hurt is present. If you're listening and you're not driving, close your eyes and do this with me. Whatever emotion you're feeling, or come up with a memory of being hurt, I promise you will get out of it. And see where that is, where you feel it in the body. Like, we say, I feel love in my heart feels expansive. I also feel pain in my heart. And it feels dark, or it feels constricted, or I feel like I can't swallow, or it's different for different people. But really tune into how your body is experiencing, because your cells, they don't lie. The body keeps score of everything. And allow yourself for that full experience, because it will pass. We say in yoga, there's awareness is the witnessing consciousness, and everything else arises, unfolds, and dissolves. This is the pattern of anything, whether it's a physical sensation or the feeling of pain in your heart from being hurt. It deserves respect. It's there for a reason. We're hurt because we are love, and we want to go home to love. Love is home for us, all of us beings. And hurt is caused by the separation and the distancing and the loss of connection with ourselves or with another. And allowing ourselves to be hurt and feel the hurt. You can do it alone in your room. You don't need to advertise it. It's not a society that accepts these emotions. I know from the work I do all the time, this is what everybody's saying to me. I can't be myself anywhere except with you. And it will pass, because nothing lasts forever. The pleasant and the unpleasant. You know this from experience. It doesn't last forever. But if we kind of try and put a band-aid on it and hide it and move on, this great phrase, move on, very, very rampant in the love language, like I'm just moving on, or I moved on, I thought I moved on. It's still in the body. The energy of that pain, of the betrayal, of whatever it is that you're feeling, it's real. It's not imagined. It's real. You're really feeling it. And it won't leave till you give it space to unfold and to think of it like a child, right? A child that needs attention. It's hurt, or it needs attention, and you can't keep ignoring it. And you say, I'll do it later, and then the kid will start banging the door, or like pulling your hair or something. And you'll ignore it, and then finally the child will take away your cell phone, and then you'll be mad. So the body gives a little pain, a little hurt, a little something. We ignore it, then it becomes a full-blown illness or disease. So be with your heart. It shows you're human. It shows you really, truly love and care for others. And it's okay to do that. And the hurt will not last forever, but let it flow through you as tears. It's a detox. Tears are the best detox we can have. It's the body releasing. The quality of tears in emotions, when they look at it in a lab, the actual quality of it is very different from tears like when cutting an onion.
See, that's the, I appreciate you sharing that, because I don't think enough of us understand our body. Like for me, our brains, we'll say enough of us don't use them, politicians don't have enough. We make all sorts of jokes about it, but it's so powerful. And then the emotions that we have, and then the manifestations of our physiology, the tears, as you mentioned, the fact that you feel these things, and I reckon this time is, maybe for another time if you'll accept the public invite. But I remember about 15 years ago doing a little bit of reading of some published research relative to people dying of heartbreak. Can you die of heartbreak? And looking at the people who were together for the longest of times, one passes in the short order, the other passes. And for me, your heart is broken, right? Literally, and I honestly believe that's. People say, "Oh, you just you read too much and you read too much into things." But am I reading too much and reading too much into things, or you die of heartbreak?
It does not matter what people think, because people can tell you anything. What your inner reality is, your inner landscape is. That's what matters to you, you, me, any person.
Exactly.
The most important thing is how is this? We say yoga. Because when people want to start meditation and then they sit and they're like, oh my God, I have a zillion thoughts, I can't really do this. But we say the mind is like a bad neighborhood and you don't want to be left alone in it.
Yeah, the worst place to be, alone in your thoughts, right?
Yeah.
But is that because we're not comfortable? I mean, to thine own self be true is what many of us have said without embracing it. But if you're not comfortable in your own space, your head space, and they're like, no, I hopefully people don't, and hopefully I'm not saying it incorrectly, get help, speak to someone and so on. But understand who you are, be comfortable,
Get help. There are tools. Everything I'm sharing with you is a tool that I have learned. I'm practicing. I'm not perfect at. I'm not looking to be perfect. I'm just happy to be human and have some interest in this life force that sustains us, right? There are techniques, just like you have a technique to, unlock an iPhone, for example. I'm just seeing your phone resting here. You can try and figure it out yourself. You will eventually, but you're going to waste a lot of energy and time and effort doing that. Or you can just go to someone who can do it, or who can teach you even better. Teach you how to do it. And this is what I really like about yoga. It's very empowering. You don't become dependent on it. You learn the tools and through breathing practices and things like that, and then you are empowered. The meditation is not about listening to me or somebody on an app telling you how to meditate. It's about learning the techniques so you can quiet the nervous system, particularly one nerve called the vagal nerve, and listen. Because we pray and we ask, when do we listen?
We're always telling.
The answers are there. You're praying. You're asking, you shall receive. Yeah. This is the truth, as I have experienced it. But if you're not listening,
how are you going to hear if you're not listening?
Yeah, so you've got to, you must get tools. There are no shortcuts. I spend thousands, I'm not saying you have to, but on my own training, this is I'd rather do that than buy a diamond ring. Yeah. That's personal, but, because it's invaluable, that inner landscape, feeling clear in my head, feeling I'm making an impact in the lives of others. It's a high. I'm happy to wake up every morning, and I wasn't. When I started, I wanted to commit suicide. So if you're hearing the show and you're thinking, well, she's positive, know where I started. It was the worst place.
Oh, we do have another question off here, and I appreciate the reticence some people may have. This question off air is asking us, Sunday is Valentine's Day or Expectation Day. How can we show self-love? Because we're always going to probably be giving the diamond ring, the chocolate, the flowers, and all the other, going to dinners and what have you. That's each his own. But how can we show self-love? This weekend or starting now, come Valentine's Day, whichever.
Oh, I think that everybody will know if you close your eyes and, really slow down your breath. Don't take deep breaths. This is a wrong, wrong sort of instruction, but slow down the breath, let it be pleasant, let it become gentle, enjoy it like you'd sip a glass of wine, sip the breath, and then feel into your heart and see what is it that I really need and want. It might be something off your bucket list that you want to do that you can do on island. Or, it could be just sitting and enjoying a cup of tea with no phone, no disturbance. It doesn't have to be elaborate. You don't need to post about it on social media after you do it.
Don't do that.
You may if you want to, but you know what I'm trying to say is let it be delicious to you. It might not be popular. It might not be something that you can show for. But let it be delicious to you. And just do it.
I hope that we can invite you back on again. We'll structure it in such a way. And I think, that song, Love, the world needs a little more love in this world today. Right away. See, singing is my forte, but music empowers the body and imbues you with a sense of spirit and an appreciation. And whether it's a hymn, or whether it's a bit of soul, whether it's something you've created, whether it's an attempt at poetry, if there's a love, it comes out. And if there's a willingness to embrace, then there's a willingness to appreciate that, at some point you can endure. But it comes from self-love. Maribel, it's been a pleasure. I
so
hope
much.
You've enjoyed this almost as much as I have, and I hope the listeners have equally benefited and appreciated the importance of, like my friend says all the time, if you don't take care of the tree, you won't be able to endure the fruit. All right? So, thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful weekend. May the weeks ahead be even more productive and pleasant. And as you enjoy the deliciousness of life, maybe others will see the spirit of, love through you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Let's pause and take the break. And when we come back, Susan's right there. What's going to happen for us? Well, we're going to get into it. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Are you interested in a career in IT? The Spring UCCI Cisco NetAcad is offering more than 15 scholarships to new IT Academy students. The scholarship covers half of the tuition of the cost of the course. UCCI's IT Academy courses include CompTIA A+ certification, cybersecurity, CCNA Cyber Ops, programming essentials in Python, and Internet of Things. To apply for a scholarship, visit www.ucci.edu.ky/Cisco-NetAcad-scholarship. The deadline is February 10th and classes start on February 15th.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners now offering 12% off all ladies and gents wearing apparels. Prepaid on orders $19 and up. Other household items such as bedspreads, drapes, and wedding dresses remain at a standard 10% off prepaid. These discounts are on at all our stores and will end February 20th. Savannah Countryside, Elgin Avenue, 337 Eastern Avenue, drive-through, rain or shine. Telephone 949-7104. Our seamstress is on duty. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
Sunday is Valentine's Day, and on your Yesteryear Musical Saturday Night's Valentine's Day edition, it'll be a musical celebration of Valentine, love, and our continuing Seafarer's Favorite Melodies celebration. That's Saturday night at 8 p.m. on Breeze Radio, 91.9 FM in Caymanbrack and Little Cayman, and 105.3 FM in Grand Cayman. Your Yesteryear Musicals, Valentine's Day edition, Saturday evening at 8 o'clock on Breeze Radio.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic, your life connected. Enjoy some family fun at Festival by the Sea at Coral Beach this Ash Wednesday, February 17th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. featuring arts and crafts, fresh produce, food stations, bands, DJs, and a heap of activities. Fair games, bouncy castle, water slide, dunk tank, fun trucks, video gaming, outdoor laser tag, Miss Bubbles the Clown with face painting, new fire trucks, and more. Adults $5, kids under 12 free. Proceeds benefiting the NCVO. For vendor information, contact hello@thisismonster.com. Visit the Festival by the Sea at Coral Beach, February 17th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Brought to you by AI Rentals, Rankins Farm, and Fun Trucks Cayman.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us as we invite you to share your thoughts with us. And thank you so much for your time, your attention. I feel, not just empowered, but really, really, wonderfully blessed. And at time to time, I say how grateful I am that you would take time and listen. And some of you participate in your own way. Some of you perhaps may become a bit infuriated by some of the things, but you're listening. And as Mirabelle shared, we're so grateful that you take time to listen. And as I look at what this weekend may behold for some, there's sadness and trepidation. There's expectation. For others, it's a sense of loss. Well, 949-8037. Let's go to our phones. Welcome, good afternoon, thanks for calling.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Rain.
Good afternoon, sir.
A little open mic now, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, first I'd just like to say happy birthday to my dear wife, Mello, or Eileen, and everybody knows her as Mello.
Yes, sir.
And also happy Valentine's Day to her when it comes. Also, I'd like to say happy birthday to my brother, Ernest Went. His is on the 14th, which is Valentine's Day, so happy birthday to him also. Very interesting program there you had. The others, and what you're saying about dying of heartbreak and all that, we have seen that happen with people. They've seen people that are lifelong friends or companions, married for many years, and one of the couple dies, and the other one goes. Really from no real physiological or physical illness, but die shortly afterwards or so. So when you say heartbroken, because the person, some doctors have admitted this for many years. I remember a doctor saying that when a son who was very close to his mother, it was many years when she died. He went shortly after, he was a stay-at-home person or so. This is many, many years ago. And the doctor did say that, because that, that it's the family, that it's, you'll see that happens often. You won't expect to see that child lives very long after their parent dies in those situations and so forth. Just like to say Sterling Green events of the last. I don't want to get too deeply.
Yes, sir.
Anything in the politics, but events over the last few days, a lot of people have jumped up and out of shock or awe. But what took place is quite legal, and it's within the Premier and His Excellency. Right, and within their purview to do what they did, and people must understand we are a democratic society, and what obtains, you'll never find a constitution. We often hear people talking about this in the constitution and that will fit everyone's wants, desires, needs, or what we think it should be. It can't happen, not here on this earth. We have to expect that I imagine in heaven that the Master has promised it'll be a perfect situation. And we're not going to find things. We must be thankful with what we have and be grasp it and utilize that and be accept the goodness of our democracy and what obtains. And we can always have, fit in certain things, and there'll be times and instances when things happen, as we saw the whole year, last year, a very, very unusual time in most people's recollections and we weathered through it. And we have to have the faith in our leaders and so forth, political leaders, to take us forward. And things have been coming back, slowly, but we're getting back there. And as long as we keep, that sort of positive outlook and have the faith and strength in our elected representatives, always keeping in mind, or many members of Parliament now, that we are a British Crown territory, and things are not the same as if we were an independent country. So we must not think of ourselves as that. It's going to be that way. It's quite evident for quite a long while to come. And we must make the best of it and be thankful, happy with what we have got, and move forward with it. And, utilize the election process and so forth. And that's what we have.
But if I could ask you, because I always not only learn a lot from you, but I appreciate that not only is it a healthy respect that we have for you, but your willingness to engage. So when your last comment, be thankful for what we have. I think back to sentiments that many of our elders would talk about, making do. Is it then that not only the appreciation for what we have, but then the expectation that we should have for willingly sacrificing to make it better going forward? And if so, how do we do that? So for instance, let's say that we're happy with the political landscape, whether it's the people that are there or the process by which we elect and they govern. Or if we're not, then how do we, in a civil, responsible, respectable, and respectful manner, change, make it better, so that it's not overnight and tumultuous and seemingly, perceived to be, inflammatory, but instead it's more than incremental and allowing us to get to a space where, we're, in the words of Maslow, all that we can be, get into that space to making it the very best.
Well, you see, it comes back to what I said in the beginning. It might seem a little bit difficult.
Yes, sir.
Confusing when I say, what is it we really want? Because what you may want and think is perfection, it's not what someone else or what I might think is perfection. We have to be satisfied and thankful and move forward and ask ourselves, do we really want these things? I remember many years ago when the Cayman that I often talk about or think about with all people my age, and I listen to my friends, Ackerman here, Rupert saying, we could take back and go back, but we can't go back to that. But those were the best days for Caymanians as I saw it, and he saw it. But we have to be realists and realize that what we enjoyed then and what the younger people now would not. It's a life. It's light years different, our makeup and attitude. Young people now couldn't live without a cell phone. If you notice, they're walking around with that all the while in their hands, talking on it, and everybody, and never really talking to each other anymore. You find that, and you can't hold a conversation, and you have to learn to accept that. Well, that's what obtains now, and so forth. And we can do certain things. We can change certain things, and we can say, well, we can do this, and we can move towards a more loving society as we go along. But we have to be able to accept that what that person wants is not what I want, but I have to be grateful that we can find some kind of a middle ground.
Okay.
And this is the thing, if we can find a happy middle ground and be satisfied with that, because you're not going to move towards perfection, and change might not give you. You'd be very amazed with change, what can happen. In my years on earth, I've found that you can wish for change, and when you get it, you might find that you didn't really want that at all. It doesn't work that way. We said we wanted to have the high-end people come here from 50 years ago, and that means quite a bit of a change in our lives. Right. You'll find that 20, 30-story buildings are going to go up because that comes with that.
But it doesn't have to, though, sir.
That come with it.
Yeah.
And no, it's going to happen because this is what the high end we ask for. It's not going to come without a price.
Maybe. All right. Yeah.
Valuable land. What to do but go up in the air. I'm just showing you one aspect of that change.
Yes, sir.
But I listen on if someone else has another opinion. Like I say, that.
Well, I always appreciate it.
I'm a realist.
There you go.
I'm a realist.
And thank you. I like what you did at the outset, wishing happy birthday and happy Valentine's. And you know what? That's an expression of love that you're a good example. And blessings to you, and thanks for your time, sir.
Listening to me. Bye.
Okay. Have a wonderful rest of the Friday and the weekend. And to our listeners, I honestly say this. It's, a mantra that we should, as the scripture talk about, seek humility before honor. And I'm very, very grateful that you're willing to listen. Sometimes the criticism may not necessarily be as constructive as I like, but if you take on board what people offer, then we can, like the caller shared, improve. Maybe it isn't perfection that we're seeking, but a standard of excellence. But you can't lead if you don't have a sense of humility. You can't serve if you don't appreciate that it has to come with an element of sacrifice. And you can't achieve and enjoy sweet success if you really have a purpose in your heart, a desire, to do right. Now, many of us will be challenged, to think of others with love because we're so self-serving, and others don't appreciate the importance of true love. Well, as we've renamed it Expectation Day in honor of what Ms. Ramona shared, well, come Sunday 8 a.m. at the Dalman Ebanks Boxing Gym and be a part of the Squat Challenge to recognize that a small act donation of $25 to be a part of it. It isn't the prizes and the surprises that you may behold. It's the idea that you've contributed. And as you celebrate, today and Sunday, that you do so with the notion that it's about love. Love more than romantic love. And love more than, love more. Well, Monday, God's willing, you'll be with us on Talk Today right after the midday news and midday meditation. But maybe you start the day out in the morning with Mr. Art for the record. We'll see what Monday brings. But until then, be blessed.
Shaken yet standing firm.